It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. Yeah, yeah. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. Yeah, yeah.
What the fuck is up, y'all? It's your boy, Andy Savage, back with another episode of the Wormhole Podcast. As always, here with me is my motherfucking boy, my homie, my co-host, my fellow shithead. Give it up for motherfucking Pinky.
Hey, hi, everybody. Oh, we got some things to talk about today, don't we, Andy?
Oh yeah, we're gonna enter the wormhole, buddy. Yeah, man, we got a fucking bunch of weird shit to talk about today. Happy fucking Tuesday, everybody. We usually come out on Tuesdays or Wednesdays every week. Really want to fucking ideally, if I could get more than one episode a week, I'd give you the two guys, but I just don't have the fucking time for it right now. But I'm working on it. If I can manage to give you a second episode every week, then if the fucking podcast gods can bless me with the fucking time to get this done and bless my boy with the time to get this done, we got you. But until then, I guarantee you'll get one a week. And now,
yep. And I'll try my best too to always be available on Tuesdays to do the podcast. But there probably will be times where I can't, and it'll all be up on Andy.
It might be weekend shit. I'm sure we'll have some solo episodes. Mm-hmm. I have other people that are interested, but they're never gonna replace my fucking co-host. If anything, it'll be a third.
Yeah, that would be cool. I can't wait till we actually start having some guests on this.
I mean, podcast. I got a fucking list of people that are hounding me all the time. Just the difficulty is getting everybody on schedule with you. Like, One thing a guest needs to know is that I am not here to promote other people. Like, I will. I'm not saying that I won't share promotion with you, but that is not my MO. That's not my modus operandi. That is not why I created this podcast. This has never been created as a platform to push other people. This has been our platform to just bullshit and talk about our podcast, the Wormhole Podcast. And
really just to talk about anything interesting. So if we actually...
that's why I always said, I like to take an elevated approach. Elevated because I fucking get elevated. And fucking drop my vape. And I always take an elevated approach to the strange, the unexplained, and whether we're talking aliens, supernatural, conspiracies, secret societies, any of that shit, or we're just talking about strange things in life, because that's what we got in plan for you today. The fucking stranged. And I don't want to say it's unexplained because there's explanations for it, but fuck is it strange. And why don't you fucking take us to the first topic?
Well, for any listener who's never heard of a breatharian, breatharians are people who they claim that they don't eat food. They don't eat food. They don't drink water. They don't do anything. They get everything that they need to sustain their body through the air that we breathe. That's where all the minerals, all the vitamins and everything that they get, all the energy to burn to move their body, that's where they get it all from. They claim that they train their body to utilize all the nutrients in the air that we breathe in order to sustain their life. And it's interesting. It is interesting. There are many people who claim that this is their lifestyle. This really is the way that they live their life. And there's, of course, even been people who have studied these people, who have looked into it and stuff like that and found out some interesting things. So you go ahead and play the video. Fill everybody
I got a video pulled up for everybody, so we can go ahead and check that out. And Here we go.
When it comes to food preferences, you've probably heard of a vegetarian, a pescatarian. How about a breatharian?
A vegetarian.
And then the exhale is through the mouth.
Yes, a breatharian, as in breath. 25-year-old Audra Bear follows this lifestyle, which is also known as prana. She's very popular on Instagram. The idea here is not to weigh yourself down with food so you can fill yourself with breath and life.
I started breathing on December 1st, and by December 5th, 5 days later, I had no appetite for food. And I've eaten a handful of times since then, since in the last 6 months.
Okay, so here's what she does consume: herbal teas, green juices and smoothies, coconut water, and sometimes soup. She says she does not miss food.
How the fuck is that not
More
food?
popular than you might think.
That's
of course,
food as
as
fuck.
mentioned, medical professionals say you should seek advice before starting anything like this.
Just because she ain't eating no fucking fillets and shit, don't mean that stuff's not food.
Bro, this dumb bitch, like, they had me for a moment because I was like, man, she actually, she actually looks good. Like, she doesn't look emaciated or like sick.
Yeah, or unhealthy.
And then you fucking see, like, Joe,
She's
this
eating
bitch is
some
just
good
blending
vitamins and
everything.
shit. Yeah,
Blending everything.
All right, she's a bad example.
That was a
because
bad example.
There are breatharians who are like truly that's claim to be truly breatharian that don't consume anything, any kind of liquid or anything through their orally or whatever. No, she's a bad example. So you got to ask yourself, are these people pathetic? Are they claiming something that even they know is not at all fucking true, just to like seem interesting to everybody? That's kind of like, from my perspective, that's what it looks like, because the science of all of it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I eat food, and I have to eat a lot of food in order to keep weight on my body. And how energy works, fat is like storage of energy from when you don't have any food in your stomach and you need to keep going. It starts going into your fat reserves for your energy. But if you're not eating anything, where does your fat come from? Is there fat in the air that we breathe? No. It just doesn't make any damn sense. And I do also understand that, like, eating food, when you eat food, you use energy in order to digest it.
Sure.
So like you're using energy to make energy. So like maybe that's part of their argument. Maybe they feel that like, since also sounds like that to me. Like what they're trying to say is that if you eat food, you're weighing yourself down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
well, it's weird because everybody that, like, when we were looking at breatharians, every breatharian I ever seen online is like the fake guru looking person. And I was like, you have to be, because if you're not consuming any calories, you're not going to have any energy to do jack shit. I'm going to have to wear robes and fucking, talk like this all day because I fucking can't lift a box at work. I can't lift no packages or fucking do any manual labor because you're not consuming any calories. Like science is, whether you believe in science or not, we went into that in the old episodes. Yes, we do know that science is like a general consensus amongst educated people that agree that this is fact. So technically, yeah, science could be bullshit. It could be fake. It's probably not. There's just too much data that's been put into it, and too much research and data. But then again, who the fuck knows, man? The fucking politicians write the history books. I'm sure they write the science books too. Ain't no fucking telling who the fuck. We might have learned that 2 + 2 is 4, but it's actually fucking. We don't fucking know what the fuck it is, man. But science will tell you that you need calories, you need carbs, you need proteins, you need all these things for your body to function.
Water is the most primary fucking thing. And okay, there is moisture in the air, there is water that we breathe, but how the fuck could there be enough in just the air that you breathe to sustain your body that's like mostly water, like the
Yeah, I don't know.
vast majority of the contents of the weight of your body is fucking water, and you sweat and you do all kinds of, you're losing this water all the time. You think that the air that you breathe equals the sweat on your body, you know, the amount of sweat you have in your body? It just doesn't make any damn sense
Yeah.
to me. Like, I'd love to believe some stuff like that, you know, that you can train your body to live off of no food and water. That would be cool as hell. And I think that the human body does have a lot of freaking amazing abilities
Sure.
that you can tap into with practice, that not every person can tap into. It takes a special type of person.
I every piece of fiction is based off of a little bit of fact.
Mm.
So, I mean, I believe in everything, you know, telekinesis, you know, I don't want to say paranormal, but what would it be like if you're like a medium? You know, some people have that sixth sense, you know, yeah, there's way more shit than you can really understand. But my biggest challenge to these breatharians, if you don't need to eat and you don't need to drink, facts. This is what they're saying. That they're claiming this to be fact. You don't need to eat and you don't need to drink.
The human
Let's
body can
let's
live
have a
without it.
challenge.
Yeah.
Why don't y'all spend 10 days in the desert and see who survives? If you don't need to eat and you don't need to drink, you should have no problem just breathing. There's plenty of air to breathe, you know?
Yeah, and then the other side, they can be over there on the other end having their picnics and eating their food and all
Yeah.
that shit.
Cross
I
the
couldn't
desert.
imagine that the person not eating anything is gonna outlive the fucking people eat. But you know what? This might just be one of those examples of ignorance. You know, I'm not a scientist. I never truly studied this shit. Maybe I just don't understand. You know, it's a cool idea. This world is
I tell
full
you
of
what,
wonders,
if all
so
we
I
needed
can't
was
completely.
breath and all we needed was breath to stay healthy, be putting a lot of industries out of business. Yeah, a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
industries out of business. You don't even need to save your money. Fuck Ozempic. Just have a breath of fresh air.
Hey, if something like that were true, though, those big companies and stuff like that would do everything in their power, throw a bunch of money at it to make sure that that stuff never reaches the masses.
You
That
seen
information never reaches the masses.
um the amount of rhetoric that these industries put out there is just fucking ridiculous. The They were showing a study that the alcohol sales of 2025 were way down because of all the cannabis regulations. Now all of a sudden, you know, everywhere you look, they're showing articles of scromiting where you're scream vomiting as a weird side effect to cannabis. Bitch, ain't no motherfucking scrum. I've scream vomited from being drunk. If anything,
Me too.
I've never fucking scream
I
vomited
don't know about
from
screaming,
can't.
but
Wow, man, you've never fucking been so. I don't know about. I'm not screaming at the top of my lungs, but there's definitely some grunts and groans that are coming out while the vomit is coming out. It's been years since I got that fucking lit. Man, that sounds good though. I would like to get throw up drunk again. That'd be
that's how I feel sometimes when I actually sit down and
and you're doing it,
start
you're
to
just
do
like,
it. I'm like,
oh,
it ain't happening.
dude.
that light headache starts rolling in. Like, I don't want this headache to get worse. I'm done.
When I think about all the times and all the drinks that actually made me throwing up drunk, like it was never like off of shots and shit like that. Like it was off of fucking drinking a whole ass bottle. It was off of fucking having 14, 15 beers and your stomach's just so full that you've had enough. And you know, after fucking 3 pitchers of beer at the bar, I think I'm gonna go outside for a cigarette. You all know what fucking happens there. That turns into a fucking 10-minute throw up session. 3 cigarettes later, and my ass fucking half sleeping in the car.
Yeah.
That's facts, dude. But like I said, it's been years since I've done that. Does sound fun in theory, but
Oh yeah, those were some of our best times, man, when we were young and we could actually do that kind of shit and not completely destroy ourselves in the process, you know.
dude, with all that being said, that kind of brings me to Another little quick thing. I think it's time to do a little
Area 420.
It's that motherfucking Area 420.
Yeah, we're about to take a breath of some nutrients. This is us being our most breatharian.
So, as all the viewers can see, I don't have my traditional bong. Didn't break. I just ran out of flour. For once in my goddamn life, I ran out of flour. I got the loot. I just don't got the time to hit up anywhere. And man, if anybody that knows me knows where my local area is, yo, if you sell weed, man, hit me the fuck up. Cause I'm sick of paying these dispo prices, man. I'm over here double fisting these fucking vapes I had from Michigan just because I had a fucking vape cart, and them carts are fucking butt, dude. Like, I feel like I'm not even getting high off that bitch. Like the disposables, I'm getting a little bit more high off of, but that fucking cart, like, it tastes just like grapes. It doesn't like, it's like terpy, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's too much distillate, not enough full spectrum. Like the high is just not the same. Especially when I'm just been smoking nothing but flower, nothing but flower. You know, when you smoke nothing but flower, man, you're getting that full spectrum at high every time. And like when I fucking take, this is the addict in me talking. When I take that first hit of that good, delicious flower, and it just calms my body down, and it calms my mind down, and all that fucking the noise just slightly goes away a little bit. Feel nice and fuzzy headed, man. That's all I'm looking for, man. Just to turn the volume down just a little bit. Let
Take
me
the edge off.
take the edge off. That's it. Carts and all that shit don't take the fucking edge off the same. Yeah, if it'll sedate you a little bit, but it doesn't like relax you. I've never felt relaxed from a cart high. I felt a little head high. I felt, you know, a little, ooh, but I've never felt like, ah.
It's been a hot minute since I've ripped a vape, so I really
Yeah, because
couldn't
you
give
you
a
be
good
on
reference.
you be ripping them dabs, son.
Yeah, I've been doing the dabs now.
That was what I did. I did dabs for 4 fucking years straight, man. From the moment they really hit our area out in Illinois. So I was probably like 2017, from like 2017 until like 2021. I was pretty fucking hardcore on the dabs, but I don't know. I like them still, but there's just a lot of issues with devices and coils and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, torches and all that other shit, man. It was just so much easier to smoke my bong.
Right. And then the easiest is the fucking vapes, you know,
Like,
the cartridges and shit.
I haven't
That's
smoked
you
a
press a button and you can take a rip. You don't have to light a lighter or anything. It doesn't smell like weed, so you don't have to worry about people being suspicious. I used to be strictly about the fucking carts, man. I used to do nothing but carts.
Nothing but carts.
Let me tell you this shit, man. During that time, every once in a while, like I'd get like this lightning bolt thing, like in my neck or in my head. It feel like I was struck by lightning, like in the inside of my head. I'm like, oh, you know, it always took me by surprise. Like, what the fuck, you know, like my nerves are getting all fucked up. And I never put it on the carts. I never thought that it had anything to do with me smoking weed or anything. I thought, you know, like I'm probably developing some kind of
Neurological
problem
thing.
or something. Yeah, some neurological disorder. But now that I haven't been smoking carts, that shit don't happen no more. It
So
used to be almost every day. Almost every day that shit would happen.
So I can tell you that was kind of one of the things that stopped me from dabbing as much as I had pulled an ab muscle from like the intense coughing, and then I fucking right above where I pulled the fucking, it was like right underneath my rib cage on the side, and it was just intense coughing, and then like that stabbing sharp pain of pulling a fucking any abdomen or rib muscle. If you've ever fucking pulled one, you know how terrible that is. Like that cramp will fucking put you down. Like when that spasm would happen on my fucking ab muscle, that is worse than the back. You know, the back is terrible because it lingers. But that abdomen spasm, that shit drops me to that I was at work, that shit'll drop you to the floor, dog. You're on the floor like, oh, oh, until that spasm goes away. Like
Jesus.
it takes it usually like a back spasm though, you know, a back spasm will last fucking weeks. Like but the abdomen spasm, it lasts like 30 seconds to a minute. But it's goddamn fucking awful. And yeah, it literally was just fucking pulling an ab muscle. And then after I pulled an ab muscle, I was coughing really fucking hard again off the fucking dabs, and I pulled a muscle in my ribs, like in between the ribs. That shit was just the worst, bro. I've never broken a rib or bruised a rib, even though I fucking destroyed myself. Never broken or did anything terrible like that. So I don't know what that pain is, but just pulling a muscle in my ribs, that shit was the most brutal thing I ever felt. So I can only imagine with somebody who like had a broken rib or some shit. Like your whole fucking quality of life is fucked up.
Yeah, I would think. I'm glad I never had to live that shit. 'Cause that's every breath that you breathe
Every
is gonna be
breath, I
pain.
heard laughing, like
Mm.
any of that shit. Like, oh, fuck that.
Could you imagine being breatharian and having a broken rib? You're done for. You're gonna have to start eating.
Right. That's nuts.
You ain't taking no deep breaths.
Man, you know what though? If you were breatharian, I'm obviously it has to be bullshit because you gotta fucking you know what I mean? It has to be bullshit. So like
Science tells us
we're not
yes,
we're not
that's
gonna like try to
impossible.
refute the fact that it's probably bullshit. But in theory, I mean, I would assume that they're some of the healthiest beings you could be because most of what we consume is fucking terrible poison to our bodies. You know, a majority of the food, like all of the, I'm not trying to get off on a tangent, but like a majority of cancers and cancer cells and all that shit all comes from the shit we're putting in our body, whether it's food toxins, heavy metals, microplastics, all the bullshit, and all of that comes from consumption. You know what I mean? None
Yeah.
of this is absorbed dermally, like we're just existing in a world that's poisoning us.
Oh
That's
no, the air that we breathe, man,
well,
the
yeah.
air
Oh
quality
yeah,
and
of
shit
course.
like
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
That's cancer causing.
Depending on where you live, you
Mhm.
know. But even I feel like anywhere because if it's not pollution, you know, it could be just fucking the dust in the air. You know, you just breathing in that dust is not good for your respiratory. But also maybe that's a little strewed too because of the fact that we're from the United States and we've always lived out here because our dust is what? It's from the ground, but our ground is covered in fucking pesticides and chemicals and all that shit.
Yeah.
So what we consider to be natural dust is not even fucking natural. You know, like
Before the Industrial Revolution, the human body, every single human body on this planet only consumed organic material. And that's it. That's all that the body is prepared to fucking consume. But now
which is
all these
odd.
preservatives and chemicals and things that are fucking synthesized that we're fucking consuming, that's the stuff that's causing cancer because our body goes, what the fuck is
Yeah.
this? You know, it doesn't
Which
know
is
what to do with that.
which is odd to me considering that when we lived in before the industrial revolution, right? When we were eating everything that was like more organic
No.
and all that bullshit, like why were we having still such short lifespans? You know, life was just harder and it just took more out of you, I guess. But I think you know with the event
Mm.
maybe it's medicine, you know,
Medicine,
because
100%.
everything it
100%
has
is
to
why
be
people are
medicine.
living longer. 100%.
Um yeah, with the advancements of modern medicine and so like anybody that wants to say, "Oh, medicines are bullshit," all that. Like, I think some medicines absolutely are bullshit,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
sometimes the cons outweigh the pros. You
Yeah.
know,
A lot of the time.
My dad, prime example, obviously, none of the listeners know my dad, but my dad had countless medical conditions, right? But the main thing is that his medicines were causing side effects. And what I found out through my dad that doctors genuinely don't research what's wrong with you. They run some tests and they treat your symptoms. You know what I'm saying? So when they're treating your symptoms, now let's say I treat your symptom with this medication. This medication causes this side effect. And what we'll do then is then give you another medication to fix that side effect.
And then that medication has
side effects.
Yeah.
And whether you even notice the side effect or not, it's just a fucking downward spiral. If you're unhealthy and you need the medicine to keep you alive, I'm sorry. God bless. I hope things get better for you. I hope life is as fulfilling as it can be, considering your condition. And that sucks, man. But like, if you can manage your condition without medicine or without, like pharmaceutical medicine, obviously that's the best decision. If changing your diet can fix your condition, change the fucking diet. Like don't just take a pill and say, fuck it, I'm gonna eat whatever. Like, don't chase that little. There's so much more dopamine you can achieve. You know what I mean? Like food is such a small thing. Like, and once you change your relationship with food, like, you're not eating as a reward anymore. You're not like, oh, I had a hard day at work, I'm gonna have a fucking steak. Like I mean, eat what you want to fucking eat, right? But don't turn that into your reward. You know what I mean? Like, reward yourself with something else. You know what I mean? Like something more fulfilling than food. Because at the end of the day, anybody that's ate out at a expensive restaurant or anything like that, you spend $100 plus. Sometimes I don't fucking do that shit. I spend $20. I eat cheap. But but if you had it like that, and you went out and you spent this money and you had this experience, right? You had a cool experience for an hour by eating, and then you just shit out $100, and that's it. It's over. You eat it, you shit it, and it's gone, and then you have to do it all again. Not even the next day. Usually the same day. Usually you're eating, 3 meals a day.
I've preached this to a lot of people who overspend on food and love to go to restaurants and stuff like that. And their argument is that they're paying for the experience of being at the restaurant and being served and all that stuff.
But every meal? How many times do you need to experience this before you were like, yeah, that was cool?
Well, fucking cooking sucks. I feel for them, honestly. Like, I cook.
I enjoy cooking. That's weird.
I don't fucking enjoy.
I enjoy the process of cooking. I've always enjoyed the process of cooking. Maybe I just like to do things. I like to keep busy.
It's a skill, you're building a skill. You're learning all this stuff.
If you didn't know how to cook well,
wash the damn dishes. And
no,
man.
That's not cooking. That's a whole. If you worked in a kitchen, the cook ain't washing the dishes. The dishwasher washes the dishes, and the cook cooks. So I enjoy. That's where I learned how to cook, was in professional kitchens. So when I learned how to cook like that, of course, dishes were never a thing. So at home, you're like, oh, dishes. And then when I cook, my wife does the dishes. We split all of the roles in the house. Obviously I'll wash dishes too. I'm not saying I don't. She washes them 98% of the time. I wash them 2% of the time. She does dishes and she does the laundry. I do, I clean the house. I do like the vacuuming, the sweeping, the mopping. I tidy up every day. I'll take out the trash, all that shit. It's just, when it's time to go, the one time a week, that's her thing. She'll go get her coffee. She goes to the laundromat. She does laundry. She gets away from the kid for a little bit. She enjoys that. So I'm not going to take that little break away from her. I would in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? I'm an equal contributor. I'm going to do, if anything, I contribute more just because I want to, not because I feel obligated to, but I want to, I want to give as much as I can to this. And, but yeah, I fucking hate dishes, dude. I got a dishwasher, thankfully. So what I like to do is when I cook, When I
makes it
cook,
so much better.
one thing, if I can give any advice to any home chefs or anything like that, and I don't want to say home chef because if you're a home chef, you know what the fuck to do. But anybody that's like not a big cooker, like just wash your dishes as you go, and it's not nearly as bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wipe off
wash
your
as
pans
you
while they're still
go.
hot and shit like that before like the fucking grease gets solidified and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you can make dishes a lot easier.
Wash
Rinse
as
your
you
fucking
go.
dishes before shit hardens.
If you're prepping, if you got like prep bowls and cutting boards and knives and all that shit, as soon as you throw that food in the pan and you start it up, like get them dishes going. It
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
nothing for you to rinse your hands real fast and get back to like stir with the pot or whatever.
That's what I'll do, man. I'll fucking be rinsing that shit. I'll touch it with my hand. I'll get it, make sure that all the fucking goop and everything is off of it before I actually throw it in the sink to be washed later. But yeah, just to pre-wash to make it a lot easier.
Tremendous difference.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. When you fucking got a splotch of ketchup on a fucking plate and you had that shit just sitting out in the open for a couple hours or something, that shit's on hard. You're gonna have to scrub and scrub and scrub as it slowly fucking.
Right. And some of those crusts develop on the pans, like literally within an hour. Let alone if you let it sit overnight. If you let it sit overnight, good luck, buddy. You're gonna have a rough morning.
Yeah, you do some fucking pan frying or something, man. While that bitch is still hot, grab a fucking paper towel and you just made your job of washing that pot so much fucking easier.
Paper towels are the best. Man, I'm not a nature conservist. I love nature. I will conserve it as much as possible. But like, man, I'm so reliant on paper products, even though like we fucking kill trees for it. Like toilet paper. I don't have a fucking bidet or none of that shit. I don't use wipes, dude wipes or any of that shit because you can't flush that shit. Like the plumbing systems are just not capable. And I live in an apartment too, so I really can't flush wipes because if I ever have any fucking bullshit happen with my pipes, they're charging my ass for that. So I ain't doing that. But toilet paper towels. I've lived in homes and I've even done it now where I had microfiber towels trying to like be more cost effective and wash rags and all that. Bro, paper towels, man, that is one of the best luxuries you can have in a kitchen. When you're out of paper towels, it's just the worst.
Yeah.
Whether it's clean,
and they're not the most horrible thing for the environment. They're biodegradable at least.
And hold on a second. I got a weird
Please let it be one of our haters. Because we love y'all haters too. Believe that. We love everybody who listens.
It says now that the call was missed, it says potential spam, but as it was going, it said Amazon warehouse.
Scammers.
Well, maybe, but
you actually work.
I work for them, so but I've never had a phone call that said that before, so ain't no telling.
Fuck, man.
Let's call it back. Let's see what happens. It was real.
Oh.
But they left a message, so. Let's see. Talk to the listeners for a
minute. Okay. I just started a new job, y'all. Well, I think I mentioned that before, but it ain't nothing special. But right now, we're having an extremely cold bit of our winter, hovering around 0. And I had to unload a truck for the first time ever yesterday. If you've never been in the back of a trailer truck in the winter, holy shit. It's like you're in a freezer. You're in a fucking freezer. I felt like I couldn't handle that shit. Like halfway through the truck, I felt like my body was done. Like I was just going to fucking give up. But everybody else there was like too intimidated by it. Nobody wanted to take my place and fucking tag me out. So I ended up just having to push through that shit. And fucking made it through all of it. But that day, as this was yesterday, that day got worse. You want to hear about a bad fucking day? I just bought a car recently, like within the past few months, and this winter, it's been nothing but problematic. By far the most problematic car that I've ever fucking had. You look at the damn thing, you open the hood, you look at the inside, you look at the outside, you think this is a beautiful fucking car. Oh man, it's so cherry. It's gotta fucking run good. This thing has been nothing but fucking issues. And it's getting pretty damn crazy. I was at work, at the end of the day yesterday after getting my ass beat by that fucking truck. I get in my car, I start it. It starts, but it's running really freaking rough. I can tell it's misfiring like crazy. So I shut it off. And yesterday being so cold, I had to call a towing company to come get the car, and they were all fucking backed up and super busy. They told me minimum 2 hours. So I'm like, okay, fuck, cool. I'm stuck here for an extra 2 hours. I'm just gonna be sitting around because I can't work. I'm not allowed to be looking at my phone all the time, waiting for a phone call and shit, while I'm working. So I was like, they kept offering like, hey, you want to just clock back in and work? And I was like, well, I'd have to keep my eye on my phone for the phone calls. Like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. And yeah, it ended up taking like 2.5 hours, but I couldn't wait that long. I ended up saying like, hey, I'm gonna leave the key with the car. I'm getting kicked out of the place I'm trying to stay warm at. Like, y'all can just drop it off at the dealership. But worst case scenario, like I've actually worked on my cars and stuff in the past. I know a little bit about cars. No professional training whatsoever, but just mechanical inclination that I was born with. Worst case scenario is a possibility. Big bucks are a possibility. Big bucks I feel is inevitable at this point because I'm like 95% certain that both of my catalytic converters need to get replaced. I have two because I have dual exhaust. Each side of the engine has its own pipe. So each side has its own muffler. Each side has its own catalytic converter, has its own sensors. So yeah, when I bought the car though, I knew that was coming because the Carfax had said that the car failed emissions twice before it was sold to this dealership. So I knew that there was going to be some catalytic converter issues. I was going to have to get them replaced before passing emissions. I was prepared for that. I wasn't aware of the two catalytic converters at the time. That's fuck. A catalytic converter probably costs about $2,000. So I would figure it's going to be double to get both.
How much longer until it's past the age of needing emissions done?
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten a letter.
I thought that was like 10 years or something like that. A car that was like
no,
older,
I
or is
believe
it
it's
more?
any car after 1998 has to get emissions, and it also depends on where you live. Your county. There's counties in Illinois that don't require any emissions test.
Oh, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know like on some cars, like you can get those like vintage plates and stuff, and I know like as it fucking hurts, but as the years go by, what's vintage is sometimes what we grew up with. It's not even vintage. We think of vintage because we're late 30s or early 40s. Vintage to us was like 60s, 70s, earlier than the 70s.
Yeah, this is something that every generation
Now
has to
fucking
go through.
now the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s are fucking vintage.
The music that we grew up with are the oldie stations and stuff.
When it started, I remember like when I was 20 and they started playing Nirvana and shit on the classic rock stations, and I was just like, this isn't classic rock. And now I'm hearing like all of the stuff I fucking listened to as a kid on the classic stations, and I'm like, oh, I'm an old man, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm only 38. I just turned 38. I'm an old man already.
Hey, we're still fucking hip though, man, because we still listen to music that's current.
Yeah.
And we ain't fronting,
G5
we ain't like it.
I ain't fronting like no bitch. Like but you gotta think like the musical artists I listen to, as I find out, are usually around my age. And like even whether you knew that or not, like the more I'm listening to, besides old stuff, but like all the current artists that I'm listening to, they're usually like my age. Like Suicide Boys and shit, they're my age. You know, I've listened to them since 2016, 2017-ish. And yeah, 2016 probably. And yeah, they're like my age. Like, I mean, I listen to like ICP and shit. I'm a juggler. I've been a juggler my whole fucking life. And they're a little bit older than us. ICP's, you know, fucking got 15, 20 years on us. But they were grown men when I was a kid listening to them. So, you know, that's one of the instances where they're a little older. But anybody that's current and shit, as I'm like really listening to them, they're usually about my age. I don't really listen to a lot of shit that's like performed by like 18, 19, 20-year-olds and shit. Like, you just don't vibe to that kind of music. But yeah, of the modern and hip shit, I would say that they're probably closer related to our age. So that's the only thing that like really ties us in with it.
You know who I really like? I really like Stitches, the rapper. Come to find out, he's young as fuck. Like when I first started listening to him, I was like in my early 30s at the time. I thought he was like my age, but then I looked it up. You know, he was like 18 at that time or some shit, and looking like a big old fucking scary fucking dude, face tats all crazy. But he was only 18 at the fucking time. He was looking like a grown ass adult, and he had already pretty much lived the life of a grown ass adult. He had kids and baby mamas and all this fucking stress and all that shit. It might have been what aged him to that point, but like I could definitely feel some music from younger people. You just gotta have it. You gotta have talent. Talent is all that fucking matters, really. Man. Like I don't like who would you say Suicide Boys. I don't like them. I like their sound. I dig the sound, but the whole entirety of the music, no. Taking it all into consideration, I don't really like them because they rap about a whole bunch of shit they don't know nothing about. They're a couple pussy boy artists. They're not gangbangers, but they fucking talk gang mentality fucking shit about a whole bunch of stuff that they don't do, that they've never done, just to sound hard and shit. And it works on white people. Yeah. It works on all these young ass white people. Whoa, they're so fucking cool. They're so hardcore. They're just talking. Right. That ain't really who they are.
Yeah, they're not like Stitches, Stitches fucking, he just popped a Molly and he was trying to fuck Miley Cyrus.
Oh, he is just as crazy as he is. He's a fucking nutball.
He throw that brick in your face. Now what you gonna do with it? Now what you gonna do with it? Better have his money when he come to collect. Pay up.
And back in those days when he was like everybody like known for the coke and shit, like he'd throw like bags of coke out into the audience, and it turns out to be nothing like baby powder and shit. Yeah. Like, oh, Stitches is fake. Stitches on some bullshit. Like, no, that's just a gimmick, Right. Like he's just like, well, this is what.
And that's and I guess in Suicide Boys' defense, that's their gimmick. They turned that G59, the record label shit, into like a pseudo gang thing. But you have to think they've always been Juggalo adjacent. So yeah, that's exactly what Juggalos did. That's exactly what Juggalos did with the Hatchet Man. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, that's how we got a gang classification. But you got to think, I was a fucking Juggalo in Chicago in the early 2000s. Motherfuckers gang banged Juggalo. That whether they did that in your local middle schools and your small towns and all that, who knows? But like Juggalos used to gangbang that shit in the city. That's how they got a fucking name as a gangbanger, because it was real. Like,
well, I guess I just never seen it.
They would literally, like, we would fucking go up to fucking people that we thought were fakes. We didn't use the term Juff as much back then, but like Juffalos and shit. Yeah, I guess we did use Juffalo, but yeah, like anybody that was fake that was wearing hatchet shit, we would take that shit. You take that shit when you would fucking fight different gangs and like run into it with different gangs and shit. You'd throw up fucking Wicked Clowns, or you throw up the fucking Wraith, and we would literally fucking be a gang, and motherfuckers would rep that shit, handshake, everything. And And to the point where like some cheesy motherfuckers on MySpace and shit would actually have full blown fucking juggalo creeds and literature and all this shit and fucking, oh, you weren't a real juggalo if you didn't know that shit. Like I didn't fucking fall into all that bullshit. But the gangbanging shit, that is some real shit. But FBI, if you're listening, that was not real shit. We don't do that. We are not gang members. Never have been, never will be. And the fact of it is that we weren't gang members. We created some bullshit based on this. You know,
It was mimicking gangbangers.
Oh yeah,
The
mimicking
community was
gangbangers.
mimicking them in a lot of ways, but actually doing gang banging shit, I never seen it.
No.
I knew a lot of juggalos in high school and all
Well,
that
when you
stuff.
say
And yeah,
when you
they
say
did their do with pants half hanging off their ass and all that
when
stuff,
you say
trying to like walk like they're freaking tough and shit.
well, when you say like doing gangbanger shit, like um being in groups, sure. Being in, you know, a gang, being in a group of people, walking in groups, constantly being in groups, sure. Drug use, drug sales, sure.
Okay, yeah. Drug sales. I
Drug
could see.
sales. As far as like actual crime, I mean, fuck, even burglaries. If I say burglar and you think juggalo, you aren't gonna be like, ah, he ain't about to steal something. Juggalos be stealing like a motherfucker. It's just they.
Because they're so broke,
A
they're
lot of
low lives
times,
and stuff. Yeah.
a lot of times, the theft though isn't like gang theft. You know what I'm saying? I'm not stealing this for for the gain of the gang. I'm stealing this for personal gain. You know what I mean? Like this is for survival today, or this is for my drugs
But
or whatever. But that's not gang. That's not gang related.
That's not even juggalo related. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
that's
just
white trash related.
or
you
trash
know,
in
be-
general. Thief, trash,
yeah.
drug
Thief,
addict, thief, trash.
And of course, there's gonna be juggalos. Like I consider myself probably to a degree trashy. I'm not the cleanest cut fucking person out there or anything like that. But I feel like that juggalo music, the whole content of the music draws in more low life type people and
Well,
shit like that. So of course a pretty
it's
good amount of the
juggalos.
community is gonna be out doing low life shit.
I don't want to say juggalos are low lives because
No.
I fucking juggalos get a bad fucking rap, but that's because of the fucking rap we've given ourselves. Like let's be honest, you know what I mean? Like ever since day one, the scrub life shit, all of that. When we started living life that was imitating the gimmicks that were in ICP songs, like that's when we really got a skewed view by society because of the fact that we were not giving a fuck work, fuck the man.
It's in the content
like,
of the lyrics and stuff too. So
well, that's what I'm saying. Like we were trying to live the lyrics.
That's why we're like that.
And when we're trying to live the lyrics, and the lyrics are fantasy, and they're fiction. No, not all fiction. You know what I mean? There's so
Not
much
all,
real.
yeah,
There's
but
so
there's a
much
whole
real
lot of
knowledge that's in ICP's older music.
Mhm.
But there is also a
Subliminal
lot of
stuff.
nonsense too. You know what I mean? Like
Yep,
a lot of
yep.
bullshit nonsense. And we're clowns, right? We're clowns. We don't take life super seriously. And all of these are beautiful things. But to society that takes life seriously and they don't do drugs. They like to have a fucking clear mind and they like to be methodical and they like to go to work every day and please their boss. And they come from happy families that aren't broken fucking homes and they don't come from abusive bullshit backgrounds like majority of juggalo kids did. Like we juggalos are the outcasts, right? We've always been the outcasts. And society fucking hates outcasts because that's what society's taught to do. You know?
Anybody who's different.
The
you hate
worst
'em.
the worst thing back in the day, even worse than death, was excommunication. Even worse than death was your town being like, we don't fuck with you no more. Get out. Like that, the fact that that's worse than death, and yet we've lived a life where we've always been that outcast. If they could have put us out of town, they would have. You know what I'm saying? If they would have seen us and judged us as how they would like to, they would have had our asses out. That's why we're getting profiled by police. That's why we're getting hassled and fucked with all the time. Because back in the day, they would have just been like, all right, y'all, all y'all, get the fuck out of our city. You know, like, we're done with this. Never again. Are you kidding me? And like, that brought us together. But at the same time, like, that's fucked us up as a culture because we've learned to revel in that. And you know, like when we're reveling in the
Yeah.
bullshit, you know, like we're putting that kind of behavior up on a pedestal. So like the realest juggalos, you know, are some of the craziest, right? Because they're doing the craziest shit. Like
all that shit that you say that we're doing wrong and fucked up and stuff like that. That's just gonna amplify it.
right, we're building personalities around it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love it because this is what I do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I do understand that this is why we're getting the name that we're getting. This is how we're receiving the backlash that we receive. You know, anybody that's been to the fucking gathering knows how juggalos are, you know, in our natural habitat. You know, we're a little bit more calm and collective outside of that area. But when we're at the gathering and all is
Around the
free,
family.
we're around the family, we can do whatever the fuck we want. Shit gets nuts, bro. And the fact that, like, you know, when we have mainstream artists come and we're throwing shit at them, I threw shit at I mean, it's not like I didn't throw shit at Riff Raff too, and countless other shit. But but the fact that we're doing that, all that's doing is solidifying the bullshit behind us, that we're not helping our fucking case.
Oh man, the
You know,
gathering.
we've
The
never
gathering
done. I don't think we've ever done anything besides the March on DC, and even the March on DC was like putting us in the forefront of our best and worst representations of ourselves. It was beautiful and it was a great representation of ourselves. There was zero negativity that came from that besides image, right? You know, like when society's looking at you and they're seeing the way you're dressed and they don't agree with it and all that, you know, instantly, like, that's an image. To I feel like to the fucking outsider looking in, you know, when you see juggalos dressed the way we dress, I'm sure to them that's just as off-putting as, like, I mean, I don't, some of the other people that dress a certain way, hippies, you know, they fucking hate hippies too, and wooks and all that shit. Oh boy, do fucking the blue collar people hate wooks. You know, they've always hated hippies. Since the fucking 60s, all the anti-war fucking anti-bootlicker people, like, oh boy, does the fucking society hate those kind of people. And we're just in that. We're identified by that. There's not very many other people that, like, who's some of the other people you can identify by, like, the way they dress? Like, Orthodox Jews, you can definitely tell them by the way they dress.
Muslims.
Some Muslims, Jehovah's Witnesses, besides religious sects, who else can you really recognize by the way they dress? Punks, juggalos, furries, subcultures, religions, and
sexual deviants.
Yeah, like the leather people with butt plugs and all that kind of shit. That's cool. And then further than that, you'd have, well, we already talked about religion, but then you have the worst shit, where it gets into, like, the racial shit. Whether it's, like, you
cultural,
know, whether it's like Nazi, fucking KKK, or even other races, you know, like, you could tell a Black Panther, they have a certain way of dressing, you know, like not none of that. I don't want to equate Black Panthers with KKK. KKK sucks. Black Panthers are fucking about empowering your race. There's no need to fucking empower the white race. I think we've fucking been in power long enough. Facts. But, you know, besides that, like, I really can't think of a musical subculture. Oh, goth, right? That's about it. That's the only other musical subculture besides, like, goths and wooks. I don't really know of anybody else that, like, dresses a certain way.
Yeah, I was one of the people in high schools that was
Oh, you were goth.
making all the normies feel uncomfortable and shit like that. Yeah, definitely just hated for my style.
And what's so weird with juggalos, because I know so many juggalos that like I knew ones that were like ghetto as fuck, like where we dressed, you know, just I'd say normal. I don't want to say well, just say urban, right? Everybody knows what the fuck that means. Uh, Normal urban styles, you know, because I'm fucking living in the city, so you know you're dressing the way everybody else fucking dresses around you. You're wearing Jordans and fucking uh uh Echo and Nietzsche, fucking Fubu, all that kind of bullshit back in the day. But or you had the juggalos that were like kind of goth, and they would dress like in the trip pants and fucking jinkos and all that kind of shit.
Big old wallet chain.
We always called those kind of, not juggalos, but like we called the jinko trip pants wear, we always called those kinder goths, because they weren't like full blown fishnet fucking white face paint, you know, goth, but they were wearing Hot Topic clothes still. So you know they were the kinder goths. But yeah, like it's so weird though, man. And literally, you think I would think so deeply. I was never goth. I was always kind of like a ghetto kid, but like I'd look back at all the goth kids, and I'd be like, man, these kids are so weird. But literally, all they did was shopped at a different store.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Listen to different music.
They were the exact same. Life wise, like they were the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Family bullshit wise, like you never take that into perspective though, because we're always so used to like judging a book by its cover. You know, that your first intuition of somebody is their appearance. Then it's the interaction you have with them. But at first, it's just the appearance. That's your first interaction with somebody, is seeing what they look like.
The culture that comes with being a juggalo, or the culture that comes with being a goth, has a degree of shock value. I think that's something that those two have in common a lot. And if you're dressing like a juggalo, or you're dressing gothic, you're embracing that shock value of your culture.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, we're aware of it. We're aware that we're getting the side eyes and all that shit. And a lot of people do it for that very purpose, just to make people uncomfortable. I will, with the utmost certainty, admit that when I was goth, the way that I dressed and stuff like that, like I did it mostly for the negative reactions.
yeah.
Like the old people like looking at me weird, or people like looking at my parents weird and stuff like that. Like, oh, like you just let him do whatever the hell you want. So, like I just always like ate up negative energy. I don't know what that's about. I really don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because like I don't respect them, that the fact that they don't respect me makes me feel like I'm doing something right. I don't know.
It's your a little bit of get back you can get at society. You know,
Yeah.
like here, take that. You know, fucking, I'm gonna. I I get it. I get it, because like you 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 feed off of attention, whether it's good or bad. You know, at least you got attention.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's what it is. It's like the attention seeking. It's like you just want to be seen. You know, I don't want to feel like
It could have been.
I don't want to
for
feel like
just
another
attention.
drone on this fucking rock.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
of the millions of people, I want you to see me. I want you to like, whether it's good or bad, you know, recognition is recognition.
Yeah.
You know,
I've always had a lot of gripes with humanity, with humans in general. And I also feel that like I've always tried my best to distance myself from what a normal average person is, because like I don't agree with a lot of what the way that we have to live our lives and stuff like that, what humans do to the planet and the environment and stuff like that. Like it's almost as if like everything I do is like, for like when the aliens come to visit, and I can say, hey, look at me, look at them, like I ain't one of them. This is all on them. I'm separate. You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's like that's the main purpose of all of it. Like I don't want to be one of y'all, because I have too many gripes, and I have to practice a lot of these things that I gripe about, because that's the world that these people have created, that, you know, this bubble that we have to live in, you know, like I need nutrients, I need to eat food, I need all this stuff, but you know, like for me to be self-sustained in that way, like get my own crops, raise my own cattle and all that stuff, milk my own cows, like that stuff. This world makes it almost impossible to make some shit like that happen. We're pretty much just stuck being consumers, you know? Like, yeah, I gotta pay for that mass-produced steak. Yeah, the freaking emissions of fucking cows, the what is it? Their farts and shit like that. It's like fucking up the
Methane.
ozone layer. Yeah, methane. It's like fucking up the ozone layer. We say like, oh, the cows, the cows. We are the ones that produced that many fucking cows to really set the balance of the world off like
Yeah,
that.
right.
To like fuck shit up. You know, we are the ones who did that shit. But I still have to eat that. That's the steak that I can eat. I want a fucking steak, you know. And I don't have the option of raising it myself, so I gotta go get that mass-produced steak that's fucking up the world and all that shit. You know, I gotta play part in this.
Yeah,
It fucking sucks. I
and
hate that shit.
even if you were to give up on society right now and you know, like try to be like a homesteader or something like that, you know, like all of that shit, the initial investment in that is usually pretty significant. And when we're barely the reason why we can't fucking buy houses in today's economy is because we're living check to check, man. I don't have a fucking savings account. And it's not that I'm being irresponsible with my money. It's that, you know, when you know how like they'd say, oh, never live outside of your means. Well, the
Yeah.
difficulty is every fucking thing is outside of, I make a good wage. It's just that my fucking rent and the car payment and everything else is so fucking high that it literally eats up all my fucking money. And, you know,
Yep.
having a kid and all that. So it's like, even if I wanted to go buy a piece of property or even like, you know, build off the land, like anything you fucking do, well, unless you're one of these fucking crazy people that's able to fucking go cut down trees and build your own fucking log cabin and all that shit. But even still, everything, you're gonna need some source of income. You can't get everything off the land.
That plot of land that you build your farm on and stuff like that. Like even if you own it straight up, you had enough money to buy it. Like you still have to have be making money to pay your fucking property taxes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit
If you
like
have
that.
property
Like,
tax or
you can't just be like, I'm done with society, I'm
Yeah.
done with money, I'm done with all that shit. I don't want to ever get my hands on that fucking paper ever again. That's not an option. It's not.
Yeah, you can be self-sufficient, but you're always gonna have to have some sort of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if it's only to buy a fucking 30-pound bag of rice every once in a while. How are you gonna get? We don't live in a bartering society. You know what I mean? Like, if you can fucking name an exception to the rule, fantastic, right? But the argument is that, you know,
communities,
for the majority of us, you know, you're not going to be able to barter your way through this. I got 100 chickens, you know, I need some rice. I'll trade some chicken. You know, like,
and before currency, that's the way every transaction
right.
was done. That's how you got your shit you needed.
Right. But we've had currency for so long that it's a factor in your life, man. You got to have some sort of income. A majority of the people.
It's something that was so irrelevant, didn't mean anything, that we just brought into existence, and it's fucked up so much.
Majority of the people that you see that have these off-grid homesteader lives and all that on social media, they all have like work from home jobs and all this shit. They have jobs. They are still part of society. They just live away from town. You know what I mean? Like, if you weren't part of society, you wouldn't be on the phone no more. You wouldn't be on the internet no more. You wouldn't be doing none of this shit. You would disconnect from all this shit and be like, I'm fucking done. And there's people that do that. You know, there are people that do that. I bet you can't name one. Because if you've ever heard about them, you heard them because they were a social media influencer. You know, like if they were actually disconnected and gave up on society, hopefully you'll never hear from them again, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal. You'll never fucking hear from me again. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't use the inspiration from the people who have actually made it happen because you're never going to hear about it.
right,
So the information's not out there. They
Unless
cut
there's just a
off.
legend of the
You
old
disappeared
hermit
off the
dude in
face
your
of the earth.
town that fucking said fuck everybody and moved out to the woods. And you know what? I bet that's the happiest. Is that crazy motherfucker out in the woods is the happiest he's ever been in his whole fucking life, I bet.
Possibly,
Or
but
he's just nuts and fucking miserable.
fucking nuts. Yeah, cabin fever is a real fucking thing. You need some type of human interaction. The people who completely cut themselves off and they're by themselves, like if you got your wife with you or something, at least you have that.
I get cabin fever with that still. Just seeing the same
Right.
exact thing every day, day in, day out. Not like and that anybody that's had cabin fever, you know that I'm not referring to like the relationship with my wife. That's fucking great. Everything's fine. It's just that you start wanting to just do something. Something doesn't mean someone.
Break out of the shell.
Yeah, let me get the fuck out of the house for a little bit. That's why I fucking go to concerts and shows and shit and gathering and fucking our camping trips. Like, let me get the fuck out of the house a little bit. Like, spread my wings a little bit and let's fucking go do stuff, you know? I don't necessarily always like going to do more shit that's indoors. Because to me, I feel like I'm not really, what was the terminology we use? Like I still have cabin fever. I'm still indoors.
You're
again.
not getting out.
I'm not getting out and doing something like
right. I've always had the saying that life only occurs outside your walls.
That's a good saying. And that's facts, man, because everything I do that I really enjoy is outdoors.
If you're at home, what are you doing to occupy yourself? You're browsing the internet, you're watching TV, you're playing video games. But that very same exact thing that you're doing, there are millions and millions of people around the world doing exactly what you're doing. Sure. It ain't nothing special. It ain't nothing fucking special at all. Like you're just killing time.
Yeah, man. That's why literally this year I got I have so much good plans between airsoft outings, the gathering, possibly other stuff. I have a plan to where we want to hit the state park in New Mexico. I know we talked about that, but take a little camping excursion. So that'll turn into like a road trip out to New Mexico. If I'm going to New Mexico and we're going to the state park, I do want to hit Roswell while we're out there. I mean, may as well. What the fuck? Why not?
Yeah.
Hit Roswell, all that shit. And then on the way back, we can actually, it's only where we're going, this national park we're going to is only 4 hours away from Denver. So like you could also hit Colorado on the drive back, just to, I don't need to go all the way up to Denver, but just going through Colorado, fucking get some goodies.
Yeah.
Get some goodies.
Traveling, getting outside and doing some traveling. That's a good way to get some experience, life experience and stuff. Like, I even looked into exactly where that moose from Trailer Park Boys, where it is.
Oh, the moose, yeah.
Yeah, and to find out if like you could really visit it, if it's a real thing. And yeah, it's in fucking Canada. It's in Nova Scotia.
Halifax.
Yeah, you're right. And yeah, it's a real thing, and I would totally fucking be down for like a road trip up.
I think you, me, and Nick definitely need to have a Halifax trip.
It's just a stupid fucking moose from a show that we love,
but there's so much more than that. Like you can see,
fucking cool to see it in person.
The original trailer, like the real trailer park that they filmed in for the first couple seasons. That's a real trailer park out there that you can go see.
Oh shit!
It's not like it wasn't a set. Like the newer ones are a set that they build, but back in the day they would like just go film at trailer park. Like these were actual real people's trailers.
I would think so, yeah, because when they first started, that was so low production.
Low budget, low production.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool, man. I'd definitely be down for that. But the cool thing about that state park in New Mexico, the whole reason why we're supposed to do that is that state park in particular, I don't know the name of it right now. That's my wife kind of organizing this one. But the sky is so fucking clear at night that you can see everything. You know, you can see nebula, other fucking planet, everything. Like, I don't know about nebulas and shit, but you can see you can see fucking through the atmosphere. And being a Midwesterner, we deal with so much pollution and shit. Like when you see the sky and there's like 17 stars in the sky, you're like, wow, this is a fucking clear sky
Starry
tonight.
night.
Yeah, it's a starry night. Like we've never seen planets. You know, we've never seen just the vivid detail. I just when I see the videos of that shit, it looks fake. Like you watch the 4K sky videos, time lapses, and all that shit. Like that shit looks fake. I've never seen the sky look like that. In 38 fucking years, I've never seen the sky look like that. And I feel like even that's something that people take advantage of, take for granted, I would say, because like people that are like in the deserts in fucking Arizona, New Mexico, California, all that shit, seeing the sky that they see on the day-to-day basis, they don't process the fact of how beautiful of a life that they get to experience compared
Oh
to
yeah, you see it all
the
the time. It
gloomy
loses its
fucking
luster.
smog of the Midwest, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And
There are still nights though out here that you can look up and see a lot. It's not often, but it does happen.
yeah, well, what are a lot though is nothing compared to out there.
Yeah, if you're in the Antarctica or some shit like that, yeah, they fucking have an amazing
I couldn't
blue
imagine.
sky.
Like even when we were able to see the aurora borealis and shit over the summer, like your best images of it were captured by your phone because your phone
Yeah,
could see
long
it
exposure.
better than the human eye could. And that's bullshit, man. Like the people that can really see the aurora borealis get to just look up in the sky and see this
See that crazy ass shit going on.
crazy
Yeah.
shit. Like
And it don't affect them no more. They've seen it so many times.
and to me that feels like a fucking supernatural experience. You know what I mean?
It would be for us.
Like,
but think about the people from like in the South and shit like that. People who are near the equator, they see all the footage of the snow and the winter. This is so beautiful. Oh, they must love to see that every year.
yeah,
And shit like
and then we're
that.
driving in the
Oh,
fucking
man.
ice and the sleet and the sludge and black ice and all that shit.
Yeah,
Like we
you
can't
come
wait
out
for
here.
this to be over.
The first few days of it, yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna the beauty and all that shit. But living it for a little while, no, you'll be right here with us, fucking hating it.
Oh yeah, when it's 38 degrees and you get a beautiful snow, and the snow is just light and it packs well, and it doesn't turn into ice, and oh, it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. The first snow of the year when it's not when it's not while you're driving to work and all that bullshit, you know. It's great. But as soon as them fucking below zero temperatures hit and all that snow turns into ice and there's salt everywhere and there's salt all over your fucking house because it's coming off your shoes as you're walking in the door and the fucking you got your wet ass fucking mat outside of the door.
Yeah, all that shit sucks. Now, y'all
shit.
people who got the Aurora Borealis, how does the Aurora Borealis ever fuck you over?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
That's just pure beauty. That's all it is. It's meant to just be looked at and enjoyed.
Yeah, man. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to like be born somewhere where it's just beautiful all the time. I feel like your quality of life has to just be that much better. You have to if you could measure happiness internally in a person through like some sort of machine, a Hawaiian person would have to be a million times happier than a Midwesterner.
100%.
Like you can't I feel like it would be off the charts comparison. Like there's just no and we do this dumbass shit to ourselves because I could pack up and move tomorrow. Man, that shit is so difficult, dude. When you're I looked into like trying to move my whole household to we were originally going to move to New Mexico a couple years ago before having my kid. And because we didn't work out there yet, you could you could do it in phases to make it easier, you know, because I'm a married man. It'd be different. You don't think like, oh, one of us could go first and then the other person can follow after. You know, it'd be easier for us to
Yeah,
get,
some people do that.
and it's
Mhm.
difficult, but that's probably the best, easiest way to transition one of those long distance moves like that. But if we were both trying to move there, even if we had a job set up, the fact that we don't have any income that's ever came from that state, when we were looking at applying for places, a lot of them wanted 6 months rent up front. Now that's nuts. 6 months rent up front is it's nuts. If you're buying a home and you have the money, it's so much easier, tremendously easier. But when you're trying to do it and you're low income and you don't own and you don't have any equity or anything like that, and you're just running it straight off of your credit score and fucking employment history, like most of us renters do. Um, yeah, dude, 6 months rent they wanted.
That kind of shit is mostly meant to keep the riffraff out. Could you, like how you even said that, like in this economy, it's almost impossible to save money. So the people who actually manage to put that much money together and a down payment just gone, like it's gone, and still they have it. When they move out, they get it back and shit, but it just out of their hands. Can't utilize it at all. Like that's top quality fucking people, man. Your neighbors are all gonna be A1 fucking people.
Yeah.
And I bet you just the whole community over there is fucking so much better.
Yeah, the days of people, you know, that like it's between what, like a 5 and 10% between, depending on what kind of mortgage you get when you buy a home, it could be from like 2% to up to 10% of your total cost is what you'd have to put in as a down payment, depending on if you got a FHA loan or a traditional or conventional loan or any of that shit. So, but let's say the back in the day, you could get a home for under 150,000. Sometimes even 100,000 you could get homes for. Now, if you get a home that's under 150,000, usually it's a fucking shithole.
Yeah.
And if we want
In
any,
Illinois.
you're paying, if you want a quality home, you're paying a quarter million dollars. You're paying 250 racks at least for a quality, really nice home, and 10% of that is still $25,000. Like, I don't know a single person that's got that in the bank.
Mm-mm.
I don't know a single person that's got half that in the bank.
I know some people who fuck with crypto who got that kind of money just sitting in accounts and shit, but
I
yeah,
mean,
for the most part, like just saving your money that you made and stuff like that. Investments really the only
but people that
way to get to
that's
those
already got
heights.
that, I bet the people that that got that kind of crypto sitting in accounts, they already got a house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not chasing it. Like, they've had the money.
Yeah.
They're good. So literally it's sad to the point where I want to buy a home before I die, but it's not even for me. It's just for my kid, man. Because I know
Mm-hmm.
how hard it is to get a house. And because I only have one child, like, it's a no-brainer. Buy the house. Buy a house eventually so that he can have it. Uh because, man, without assistance and without getting left a home or inheritance, like fucking, my parents are gone. I never got shit. I didn't fucking inherit shit. And
Mm-hmm.
my mom's still alive, but I haven't seen her in fucking so long, and she doesn't ever interact with me. So, like, it's not like I'm gonna get anything when she dies. She doesn't got nothing.
Yeah, she doesn't work. She hasn't worked for a long time.
So it's no big loss on my end, But yeah, fucking, like, I'm not gonna get no home out of this. I'm not gonna get no anything I could sell to possibly get myself ahead. None of that shit, right? Everything is on my back, and that's fine. That's life, baby. You know what I mean? Like you have to accept that at day one of being born, that whether or not you have help, you're in this by yourself. You came into this world on your own, you're going to leave this world on your own. You can find people to join you on your journey and help you here and there, but nobody's going to help you like you'll help you. You know, nobody's going to break their fucking neck for you like you would break your neck for yourself, because you have to. You know, nobody has to keep you alive like you do. Nobody has to.
Even though, man, there's so many people in this world that feel like they're entitled to all that shit just because they were born somewhere. You know, like, I was born in this country, now give me money. You know, like, now I'm hungry. Like, why am I hungry and I'm living in your country? Does your country just suck that bad? Feed me. You know, like, you're not entitled. Nobody's entitled to any of that shit. You know, like, you gotta take care of yourself.
I mean, yeah, and that's true, but I mean, obviously you'll have assistance and things like that for um in, for poverty stricken, for the poverty stricken. Um I haven't qualified for that shit for years, even though I'm fucking struggling, and I fucking literally, after paying bills, might have like 50, $60 left in my fucking bank account, sometimes less. Sometimes I don't even have enough for the bills and I got to fucking catch it up next week. You know, that's life. But I make too much. I haven't had a link card since fucking over 10 years. You know, since I was working at fucking a shitty Walmart job years and years ago. But yeah, no,
I've never taken advantage of anything. I've never collected any disability, unemployment, or anything like that. And there have been cases that I could have. There have been times that I could have gotten a link card and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it all would have been nice.
the only reason I had got the link card was when I got out of prison, they had like a counselor that fucking like did all this shit for you essentially. You know, like they got you all the assistance. I got the fucking we joke, I think we call it the Obama phone, the free phone.
Yeah.
I got all that shit, all that coming out of the joint. And excuse me. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I got all that shit coming out of the joint. I didn't have it long, but I did get it. They had like the health insurance marketplace where I got like my health insurance for like $60 a month or some shit, which is fucking great considering. To me, I was like, man, that's $60 a month, man. Like all when you're just coming out of the joint, where like the most I spent on shit was maybe like $5. Like seeing fucking $70 bills, $80 bills a month, seeing the cost of a fucking having the phone every month and shit, like, man, that shit fucking added up quick, especially when you're coming into entry level jobs as a fucking felon just getting out of prison. Like, that shit was intimidating. And I did, you know, I was locked up from when I was 19 until I was 26. So it's not like I had a very strong grip of fucking being an adult in society. If anything, I never even knew what it was like until after I got out. And then I had to pretend to be the age I was because of the fact that, like, I was still a fucking teenager in my brain, because I was a teenager when I got locked up. And the only thing I've known about life has been prison. And I can't live a prison life out here in the real world. So I just had to fake it like I was grown and shit, you know?
Yeah.
You literally had to just fake the grown mentality. Well, I'm fucking in awe of everything. Fucking even working, like as you said, you know, when you just got back into work and how sore you were because you're not used to doing that kind of shit again. And like,
out of shape.
I was sore like that both physically and mentally because of the fact I wasn't used to having to be a member of society. I wasn't used to like I wasn't even used to like talking to the fucking clerk at the gas station. You know what I mean? Like that interaction in itself was awkward because you
completely different rules you're living by, completely different style of living. Yeah, that was definitely, I'm sure, a huge shock to the system.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy the fucking life we live. And man, I tell you one thing though, getting out, I think the best thing I found when I first got out was internet porn.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I was beaten off like a fucking pilgrim before that. We had magazines and shit. And- Bro, it became an addiction so fast. So fast. And it's crazy how fast you could develop an addiction to something like that. And I only say it's an addiction because of the fact that like it's not like it encompasses my mind and I would watch it outside of moments of private time. But I wouldn't, instantly. You just do, get your business done real fast, turn it off. Like, you fucking disgust me. I've seen enough, or as worse is like when you'll turn the volume up like right when you're almost done, and then you hear her talking, you're like, just shut the fuck up. You turn it up. I've heard enough of this fucking.
Yep.
And it's funny, but I say it's an addiction because it's like it became the go-to, and the fact that it was always in hand on the phone and like having a smartphone and all that shit, I was like, bro, you just have an unlimited access to like fucking porn all the time.
Yep. Before all that, man, you wanted to get your hands on some porn. You had to go to the fucking movie store, into that special little area with the curtain. And you didn't want anybody to see you walk
Yep.
into that area. You didn't want anybody to see you walking out of that area, but it was impossible. There would be times that people would know. And they, of course, when they see you, they know he just bought some porn. He's going to jack off tonight. You don't want people thinking that, knowing that and shit like that. Yeah, when we could start getting porn on our computers and our phone, that was a huge thing. That was a huge fucking thing.
Fucking gooners, bro. But,
Yeah.
but, I have fucking heard some horror stories, and actually, let's talk about one of the horror stories.
Struggling with quitting adult content for the past 7 years. I've been analyzing a lot. I know what side effects you get after jerk off. We all know that we're gonna feel like shit. We all know that we're gonna have shame, guilt. But that knowledge doesn't change shit, right? We all know we're gonna feel like shit, but we still do it, right? The urge is way too strong. So I decided to research a bit more. And I asked this friend of mine what he thinks about adult content. And he said this one thing that made my urges completely disappear. I was so disgusted in what I heard, I didn't think about adult content ever again. It was so bad, it was disgusting. The thing he said is that adult content will turn you gay. Think about this. It will turn you gay. When you were a kid,
Why are you gay?
attracted to women. You were attracted to normal people, right? You were not watching bullshit that is considered real. It's not real, right? None of what you see on the internet is real. It's all fake. It's all a fugazi. You've been conditioned, right? Over the years, you've been conditioned, oh, you should be watching this, right? And now you're not even attracted to actual human beings. How pathetic is that? Think about this, right? Every single day, you wake up, start jerking off to some random guy banging some woman.
This guy likes to jerk off to guys, I think.
And you're some random guy as well, right? They don't know who you are. You're
So
just
I'm getting off is
behind the screen.
adult content made him realize he's gay, but he's trying to say that it made him gay.
There are valid points.
It's okay, right?
Yeah, he's making a
Well,
little
1 hour a
sense.
day or like once a week. Fuck that shit, right? Screw that. You were never supposed to do this, right? If you want to jerk off, do that, but without adult content, right? Adult content is the main thing that makes jerk off. Try jerking off without adult content. You will see that you don't even like it. You don't have the urge. But when you think about adult content, oh, immediately you're hard. It's your mind that is reprogrammed. It's reconditioned. Now, the only way to fix this is to realize how bad it is, right? Many people just ignore this. But understand that this will turn you into a nightmare. It will turn.
Now, I really want to bring up how he said that you can't even jerk off without adult content. That's fucking false. It's
I'd
just
say so too. Mhm.
I think that's a youngster view of everything because you've always had a phone, and
Okay.
you've never had to fucking crank one off to the fucking thought of that,
To your memory and shit.
man, or fucking. I mean, I can't be the only one, so I know I'm not gonna sound like a weirdo. Or like when you're a fucking kid, like what, you're not fucking a kid, but when you're a kid and like let's say you're a fucking middle schooler, high schooler, or whatever, and you're thinking about that hot girl in class or something like that, and you fucking go handle your business. Now, obviously, there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what all fucking kids do. But you had that image in your mind. You were fucking banging the hell out of that girl in your mind. And yeah, I feel like nowadays people don't necessarily have to go as far as even thinking about it because of the fact that you do have access to adult content.
Okay, I can see that being the case for some people, but personally, it's not the case for me at all. There's plenty of times that I don't use adult content when I'm taking care of business. I'm just reflecting on some great ass that I've gotten in the past or
past
something like
experience.
that. And I don't feel like it's the quality of the experience is any less than if I had adult content.
No, I feel like this kid's perspective is based on somebody that just doesn't get pussy much.
Maybe
because
doesn't have those memories.
Because yeah,
but I remember being younger, like in my 20s and stuff like that, not using porn. Like I can like imagine that hot girl in class, coming into my bedroom and all that and stripping naked and that shit. Close my eyes and I can see it. Oh yeah,
but now that brings up the valid point of what he was saying. How like the constant watching this can turn you into like a cuck behind the screen, and I mean shit, we were a cuck of our own brains back then because there's so many girls that I fucked in my head as a kid that I didn't even try to talk to in real life. If anything, I never even spoke to the girl. She just knew.
Yeah.
And you fucking were rubbing one out to her every fucking day at home, but you fucking never even talked to her at school. Too embarrassed. You were a cuck. You were a fucking cuck. And she probably had other boyfriends and all that shit. So you were 100% a cuck. And
I see that. Okay, now that makes sense.
But you were a cuck to your own mind. That wasn't even a slave to the screen. All the screen is doing is it's making it more convenient. But let's see what else this little fucking cuck has to say.
Into a freak, you'll become ugly. You will not be attracted to actual human beings. You'll keep dreaming in a fantasy world. You will never have a proper life. You will never be able to build a family. You will have a messed up relationship with your family. Everything will be horrible. And if you still have some motivation to jerk off anyway, sure, do that. But just so you know, eventually it will get so messed up that there will be no going back, right? Imagine you being in this car, right? And you're going so fast, right? You're jerking off every single day. You're going so fast. You're fully addicted, right? You're locked into this bullshit. You'll go so fast to a point where you lose your mind. You will not know where the brakes are on the car. And eventually, a wall will appear, and you ended your own life. That's how it is, right? And people think it's okay, right? Adult content is never okay. Now it's just the early stages, right?
This guy's a fucking idiot. When he says that you will just lose sight of everything, and bro, 38 years. Daily masturbation. I'm married. I got a kid. I got a life. I'm not crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy about fucking internet porn. I was like, man, I think this kid's really got a fucking problem.
Once you go past 25, 30 years, right, whatever, that's where the real nightmare comes, right? When we were kids, it's all okay, right? Because nobody cares about it, right? Everyone does it. Some bullshit happened, but I just wish I never saw that when I was 13. But that's how it is, right? Life is messed up. But we only realize that
what did he see
when we are 20, when we're 18, when we are actually smart enough to recognize the problem. When you're a kid, you don't recognize the problem. That's why kids are not supposed to do any of this shit. Because they don't realize how bad it is.
That's true.
It's too late. I hope this helped you. And take care.
That's true to a certain extent because when you're 18, 19, you would never even consider beating off in the room with your buddies. But when you're 13 and you guys got your first fucking access to a porn video and you're all watching it in the same room and everybody's under their respective blankets fucking pretending like they're not beaten off. Oh, like, bro, fucking teenage boys are some horny motherfuckers, bro. I don't know. I think this kid's got a problem, bro.
Yeah, I think that whole mind journey that he mapped out of what's going to happen if you watch too much porn, I don't think that it's implausible. I think that it did sound like it makes sense. I can see it happening to certain people. Yes.
I think,
but I wouldn't say that if you watch porn, that's what's going to happen to you.
No, I think these people have an addiction to actually watching the porn itself. It's not the addiction of self-pleasure. It has to be the addiction of watching this shit because, like, I think a normal mind, I would say that the normal brain, the general consensus is the moment you're done, you just put it away. Where these people will actually watch the whole video and they'll comment and they fucking share and fucking post jerk off videos to it and all types of shit. So motherfuckers get a little sexual deviant with that porn shit for sure. But I don't know. I feel like you could also just use it as a tool.
I think that having access to porn is all around bad.
Yeah, having as easy as access.
Anytime where you hit the easy button, you have the hard way to do it, you have the easy way to do it. The results you get by hitting the easy button are going to be far less than the results that you get if you fucking worked for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, going out and getting yourself a piece of ass, a real fucking pussy to fucking suit your pleasures instead of, you know, self-gratifying with some videos, you know, like that's just the easy route out. And yeah, it's gonna produce some bad fucking things in your life.
Even the results aren't as good. Even the results aren't as good.
No, absolutely not, dude.
When you're fucking
bust a big old nut in that freaking
in a
JJ, but fucking
a
in
dribble.
Your hand, only so much. Yeah.
A dribble. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I could say personally, the negative effect that it's had on me is I feel that like I'm probably not as attracted to average women.
Yeah.
Than I would have been if I hadn't watched so much porn, and average sex as well. You know, like I've had the pleasure. I guess maybe not everybody's had the opportunity, but I've had some good experiences that I would say like the chick performed as well as like a porn star would. And yeah, like that sex freaking great. But if that's all you watch and that's what you think sex is, and then when time comes, you finally get a chance to have some real sex, and it's not that, yeah, you're gonna have some big problems. You're like, well, fuck. Like, if anything, it's gonna make you even more into porn and less into actually getting a real piece of ass.
What do you mean? You're not gonna fucking suck it until I come first, and then let me fuck you in the butt, and then fucking what the fuck?
There are chicks out there that just love dick like that, though, that they will treat you like they want to give you the best fucking nastiest, sloppiest sexual experience. And those are, yeah, I like them. They're doing us a real service out there. But the average, you know, like just, but I guess like even if you didn't watch porn, if you had some really great sex with somebody, you know, like your first woman that you slept with, your girlfriend or whatever, and you had nothing but amazing sex for years and years and years, and then that shit fell apart, and then you got with somebody else, and the sex was just not there. You know,
and that's why it is up to you. It is up to you to become the sex machine that your sex life needs. If it's boring, then you make it not boring. You know, you can't. Don't expect your woman to do a 360 all of a sudden one day. You do a 360. Eat her butt. Eat her butt. See what happens. You know.
I think in most cases, like if you ask somebody who's never got their ass eaten, if they want that, they'd probably say, "Ugh, no." Ugh.
Don't
but
ask.
I think
just
that
do
most
it.
people, if you just snuck it up on them, they'd be, "Hey, what do you? All right." I've never had it happen, but I'm sure it's fucking fantastic.
You know, when
I
in
never had
doubt,
it that dirty.
when in doubt, eat her butt, man, and see where it takes you. If you want to spice it up, do it. Handle your business.
Communicate too. You know, if it ain't up to par, you know, there's constructive ways to convey that message that, hey, you know, like maybe we should try a little bit more of this. You know, you know, like I do enjoy that you go down on me and everything, but like I just like you to be down there a little bit longer. You know, like just there's ways to convey it to make the sex better. Yeah, you can be proactive in that for
And
sure.
you have to understand the laws of spontaneity, right? When somebody's being spontaneous, that is an instant gratification experience, right? If you give them a moment to actually consider, they might change their mind. So if you want to bring a third into the relationship, have her waiting in the closet. Bring the idea to the wife and, you know, eat her butt and be like, man, it would be interesting if we had like a third. And she'd be like, oh yeah. And he'd be like, I'd be down for that. And be like, really? Bam.
Right behind door number 1.
We have Kelly.
And that's gotta be jokes though, man. No woman would ever react to that in a positive way. Ooh, what's your name?
Why was this bitch in our closet? And she comes from under the bed like fucking Hornswoggle.
Normally I would freak out right now, but you got me so worked up. Let's do it. Yeah.
All because you ate her butt. All because
Yeah.
you ate her butt. Yeah, just eat her butt.
Hey, you know, that might work 1 out of 1,000 times or something.
Well, it's been a fucking crazy one, y'all. But we're gonna wrap it up. As always, hit us up on our socials at the Wormhole Podcast. Go on our videos, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and until next time, y'all, stay safe out there and keep your eyes to the sky. Wormhole out, y'all. Stay off that porn.
It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. Yeah, yeah. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. It's the motherfucking wormhole, homie. Yeah, yeah.